Hi folks, I'm going to do an oil change on my 2013 Hyundai Genesis Coupe with a 3.8 liter engine. Got it up on ramps. Now there's kind of a trick on cars that are low, like sports cars, to get them up on a ramp, and I did not have to use that for this, just plain generic ramp, rode right up on it. Now on Porsches that I've owned, I'd have to cut like a 2x6 plank. Maybe you could get away with a 2x4 that's about 12 to 18 inches long, and use that just to get the nose up so the front air dam didn't scrape. Didn't have to do that here. Alright, so let's take a look under the hood. And can I do it one-handed? Yes, I can. Holy cow, there's no engine. What the heck is this? Well, it's a cover, and there's like 4 rubber grommeted, I don't know if it's 4 or 3 rubber grommeted covers, and there's no oil filter up here, unlike other videos that I've watched. Well, it wasn't for the Genesis Coupe. I guess it's underneath. So we'll go to the bottom of the car and take a look. Okay, there's a number of bolts under the car. So here, here, here. For the back, over here, here, here. I think that's it. I don't know if I covered that one over there. But they have to be removed to expose the underside of the car. So the bolts are 10 mil. And just a simple wrench. I'm loosening them all up, and then I'm going to just spin them off. Now my theory is if you take the outer ones out and leave the inner ones in, it's not going to hang and bend anything. Not like you have to really worry about that with plastic, but that's my tactic. Okay, so after you remove the 8 10mm bolts that hold the cover on, you can see the oil filter. I hope the lighting is good enough. There's a nice nut on this, so you can get just a big 6-point socket on it. And make sure you use a 6-point socket, because then you don't bugger it up. And in fact, your 12-point sockets are useless. Throw them out. And being a brilliant mathematician using a 6-point socket, it is actually a SAE equivalent of 1 1/16. Alrighty. I'm going to let the oil drain a little bit, because I'm assuming the whole cartridge is going to come out, so if I let the oil drain, I think I'll be better off, and I'll report back. Okay, this actually worked easier than I thought. The big lip prevents the oil dripping onto your hand, and I've got the cap and the cartridge filter all in one, and hopefully I got the right filter. We'll know in a moment. Okay, this is where I need a third hand, and I don't have any gloves with me, but I'm reusing ShopRite bag, or some bag. And all you gotta do is just grab the filter cartridge and pull off the top lid, but being that I'm a normal human, I only have 2 arms, can't do that. Okay, I've got a Wix oil filter here. I'm gonna pull it out of the box, and hopefully the thing matches. So it's a Wix 57029. So it looks like the filters are right. It looks like the O-rings are right. The O-ring goes down around the bottom here. There's a groove. Yeah, I can't point. I need that third arm. Let's see, I'll point with the screwdriver. See, it goes right about there. Because there's only 6,000 miles on the car, using a little screwdriver like that, gently prying it out so you don't gouge the O-ring in case you got to use it again, and so you don't gouge the top of the oil cover, works fine. Alright, so now here, I'm going to take this out. Now, you might want to check that it's the same on both ends, and it appears to be. And if it snaps in like that, that should mean it's a match. Now, does it look correctly right? Yeah, I guess so. Alright, we'll find out. I'll put the O-ring on. Now, mind you, there's an O-ring in here, and there's a couple other O-rings, I think, for different model V6s, and then there's a crushed copper gasket for your oil drain plug. Now, In aviation, we use these on spark plugs for the plane, and you're not supposed to reuse them, but if you heat them with a propane torch that's called annealing, and I think quench them in oil, you can reuse them. So look it up, don't take my word for it, verify it, but that's, if you didn't get a copper gasket in the kit, that's probably what you want to do. Point to where the O-ring goes. This is where the O-ring goes, in case I didn't do a good job of it before. So that's what you need to do, and then you just replace in the reverse order of removal. To see how good I am at doing this one-handed, and basically I just got the friction up. Alright, so now it's coming to a seat, and they talk about, I don't know, like 17 nanometers or something like that. Alright, don't tell anyone. I'm not breaking out the torque wrench on this one. Alright, need two hands, gotta go. Alright, I broke out the flashlight. I don't know if you can read it, but it does say 35 Newton meters. Just want to let you guys know so you got that calibrated torque wrench out for you. Folks, after a battery change and a 17mm wrench and the oil's all drained, I've pulled the plug, and the plug seems to have an aluminum gasket on it. So it's not coming off easy. I'm going to grab a utility knife and try and get it off gently without slicing up a finger. I'll let you know how that goes. That aluminum washer I was able to pry up, and you want to do that without damaging the nut, without gouging it. But really, I left out one thing. Before you replace it, make sure the included copper gasket is the right size, because otherwise you're going to need to reuse that. So be really careful with this stuff. Oh, and one more thing. I wanted to mention that while I was prying the aluminum washer up, some aluminum strands got caught in the threads. Make sure you clean that out before you reinstall it. Okay, and here's the copper gasket on the end, and all ready to be reinstalled. Okay. So I like to install these by hand so you know it's all the way in there, and using a 6-point, and if it was adjusted right, 6-point 17mm deep socket. You want to give that a good tighten and then reinstall the, oh wait, I'm going to put the oil in first, run it while it's on the jack stands, to make sure that there are no leaks between the oil drain plug and the oil filter housing. And once I get good oil pressure after putting 6.2 quarts of oil in this darn thing, and I'm going to be using some synthetic oil, AMS oil that is, and putting the cover on, we're gonna we're gonna put the cover on after we know everything's good and take it down from the ramps. Alrighty, now I did remove the cover on the engine. You don't need to do that because there is nothing under here you need to service. I am using the 10W30 AMS oil, which is good down to, I believe, 0 degrees Celsius. This oil is more expensive than the oil I use in my airplane. I was using a semi-synthetic in the plane, thinking I was doing a great job, but apparently it would very easily make its way past the rings, and the good old dinosaur oil seemed to be better for the airplane as far as consumption of oil went. And here's the last quart of the synthetic dinosaur oil going in. Well, if it's not dinosaur and it's synthetic, what is it? Crikey, how do I get all these complex questions? Alrighty, I'm gonna check the oil level, and let's see, can I do this one-handed? I didn't clean the dipstick before, so what do we got here? Is it just too clean and I can't tell? I can't read it! Alright, I'm gonna have to use the other hand, wipe it, and do it from there. Alrighty, now that I wiped it and it's waggling about, yeah, I can't tell from the camera looking at it here, but I'm going to put down the camera and take a look. Alrighty, there is an L there, and it is well above the L. I'm assuming the dimple is the range in which it should be, so we're looking good. Alrighty, so with everything out of focus, we got the oil cap on, the oil dipstick is in, there's no tools on the hood of the car, and we're clear underneath the car. Oh, you mean I was shooting zoomed in all this while and had no clue? Alrighty, so that's the view, looks like we're set, and I'll give it a start. Alright, I'm in the car, clutch depressed, I'm going to put my foot on the brake, the parking brake is engaged, and the transmission's in neutral. And I got an oil light, but of course there's no oil gauge in this car. Why would you put a sports car with no oil gauge? Hold on, let's gripe about that. I got this gauge. Hey, I got a sports car, do I care about fuel consumption? Heck no. Torque, maybe if I was running a turboprop aircraft. And oil temp if I was running an air-cooled aircraft engine. But yeah, these three gauges are completely meaningless in an automobile. Anybody at Hyundai watch this? I want to talk to you about it. Okay, I'm under the car. Oh, really, I'm not under the car. Alright, and do I see anything unusual down here? Doesn't look like it, and it looks like the oil plug is good and dry. Just a reminder, when you do work on your car, like an oil change, make sure it's completely dry, because then you know if it's leaking. Okay, so we have almost 150 degree oil temperature. With good oil pressure, no oil light, warning light on, and no leaks on the bottom. I'm going to put the belly cover on with those 8 bolts and call this a success.